Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. The moment we've all been waiting for a long time. Triumph of St. Katherine is on Magic Online, and I'm starting off strong with a 5-color Up the Beanstalk Triumph of St. Katherine control build from Patreon subscriber Blue. Blue's been playing this deck for quite some time in paper. We've had some sessions where we talk about it, we've debriefed some gameplay and stuff, and finally, we can really test this thing with Triumph. A lot's been said by me and others about how tough it's been having a clearly, obviously, legacy playable card not available online for a long time. And I'm not going to hammer down too much on that. I will say I played 4-color beans with Triumph at Eternal Weekend Prague, and the list felt unpolished to the point that I wasn't confident in it. And without it being on Magic Online, I couldn't polish it, which is how I ended up on Sultai Beans, which I still think is a great deck. I just won the Magic Cup in Chicago with it last weekend, by the way. And I'm really excited to dig down and see, is this like some big dumb animal that we don't really need? Is this actually shifting and worth a 4th color for? We get to start answering those questions today for real. Blue's deck is actually really interesting because it's kind of a 4-color bean deck. Like my Prague deck was every color except red. This deck, the only red cards are 1/4 Aerolingus and 1 Meltdown in the sideboard. And we're facilitating domain for Leyline Binding anyway, so the red is air quotes free if you want just a couple powerful cards kicking around. This is more of a Orcish Bowmaster base. There's 4 of this sucker in here. This has a lot of notes of Sultai Beans in it, compared to some of the bigger, more dedicatedly ponderous builds of 5-color beans that are out there. What I like about this deck a lot is the density of beefy things to do. You've got engines like Up the Beanstalk, beefy creatures like Triumph, beefy creature engines like Uro, 4th Aerolingus always threatening, Orcish Bowmaster always threatening. The threat density in this is just enormous compared to something like Sultai Beans, where you basically have 4 Murktide regions you can win the game with. The big thing here, of course, is that Triumph is a 5-drop that triggers Up the Beanstalk. Some cool plays you can do that I got to do in Prague when I had them all in the same deck was you can Force of Will something on your opponent's turn, trigger Up the Beanstalk, Miracle Triumph, and then trigger Up the Beanstalk again, because that's your first draw of that turn. Leyline Binding does the same thing. There's multiple 5+ cost instants in the deck to give you twice as many looks at miracles, basically, as long as you have a Beanstalk out. There's not a lot to say about this deck. There's a lot to say about Triumph, a lot to still figure out about Triumph, but, I mean, this is 5-color beans. We know this. We've been around for the last couple months without our heads in the sand. So I'm not going to say too much. This is 5-color beans with Triumph of St. Katherine. Let's see how it holds up. The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. 2nd through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bizarre Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. I'm on the draw in round 1. My opponent's already mulled a 6. I have Force of Negation blue card. Up the Beanstalk plus Savannah gets me 2 mana Leyline Bindings, which start trigger the Beanstalk. This hand is great. I'm going to keep it. Opponent's down to 5. Down to 4. Okay, race to the bottom, it seems. Can't wait to lose to this 4-card hand. Okay, they stopped at 4. What did we keep? Blue to Delta. Is this Reanimator? Are we scamming? What's going on? Basic Swamp confirmed. I'm going to play Flooded Strand and pass.
It's much safer to fetch on their turn where they can't Dark Ritual out an Oppo because I can force a negation it. Okay, Reanimator confirmed. I can't counter that Entomb on my turn. I can counter the Reanimate spell on theirs. Let's just hope they don't have two of them. Force pitching. This is actually interesting. Brainstorm versus Dress Down. Because if I get myself set up, Dress Down plus Leyline Binding might be a thing at some point. I think I'd rather have Brainstorm, though. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get Dark Ritual Oppo Agented. Drew Triumph, can't miracle it. I think my best course of action here is to play Beanstalk off of Savannah. Because the other option is just leave up Leyline Binding in case they put a monster into play. But the Leyline Binding gets so much better if I have a Beanstalk in play, and I just have to hope to fade one turn here. Fetching the instep, ooh, the Surveil land, sweet. Powerful in Reanimator strategies, and they kept the card on top. That's really bad news. There's really only one card they would keep here, and it's Reanimate, or some variation thereof. Yep, there it is. Unfortunately, because it's Animate dead, leaving up the Leyline Binding actually would have stopped the Grizzlebrand from coming into play, which is not true of Reanimate or Exhume. So, like, leaving up the Binding actually would have been better if I knew they would have exactly Animate dead as their payoff. Tough beats, but let's wade through it. We're a powerful control deck. There are 4 life. Let's see how many times we get griefed this turn. Unmask, targeting me, pitching a Reanimate. We're going to start losing bindings here. That's the card they need to protect. Lotus Petal. More's happening. 2 Lotus Petals. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. This is 7 mana. Entomb. Archon. Entomb. Archon. Are these both coming back? Seems pretty likely, actually. All right. Okay. I mean, I could have left up Leyline Binding here to play around 1/3 of their reanimation cards. Maybe I'm supposed to do that. Just, make sure you're alive to beat them all to 4. A Surgicals, Veils come in, Endurance comes in. Don't think I want Deafening Silence or Collector Roof. Things that are slower and worse include, you don't need all 4 up the Beanstalks versus fast combo decks, because like we saw that game, you don't always have time to invest in it. Where there are matchups where I would happily snap off 2 lands, 4 up the Beanstalks as an opening hand, they don't help you survive in this. They help you pull ahead once you survive a little bit. No guarantee we're going to do that, though. I don't think I need 4th Aer Lingus here. You do have to win the game somehow, but I still think 4th Aer Lingus and Triumph of St. Katherine are reasonable things to board out a little bit on. The surviving is the first priority. I'm going to get a Plow. I have Leyline Binding that can answer permanents that are in play. And Dress Down is kind of mid. It's not the worst card that exists, but it's also not great. It is blue, though, for my 6 forces. I do like Bowmaster because I can cast that in their end step and avoid tapping out. They showed me Shallow Grave, though, which is a wacky one. That changes things because that's an instant. Yeah, I think Bowmaster is too good. It just, if they reanimate a Grizzlebrand and activate it, they just die to a Bowmaster. I think Dress Down's going to go. Or maybe Lorien Revealed's worse than Dress Down. They're both blue. Lorien Revealed doesn't interact with creatures. This is not a matchup where missing a land drop kills you. Oh, this hand is not good. I'm going to mulligan it. Okay, force blue card. Both Dress Down and Lorien Revealed. We'll never know which one was right. Or actually, well, I kind of need the Lorien Revealed to play this hand. I'm going to put Plow on the bottom and just hope that there's not a creature in play. Ponder. Opponent kept 7. Great. I couldn't beat their 4. Endurance is nice, but doesn't actually help me here. I'm going to shuffle this. Okay, found a land. That's good news. Either Marsh Flats Go is their play. Veil of Summer is a nice one to find. Sideboard games against Reanimator are always a crapshoot. They might have just, okay. I was about to say they might just be playing the Witherbloom combo now. And that Worldly Tutor, kind of smoking gun, but they grabbed Grief with it. This Veil of Summer is going to be crazy. Grief pitching Sedgemoor Witch. Yep, Witherbloom combo confirmed. Drew a backup Veil. Take a seat. The old 3 for 1. Or 2 for 0. However you'd like to do that math. It's still true. I'm going to fetch for... If I fetch for Bayou and then get Tundra, that's all my colors, right? Nope. Missing red. Volcanic Island. The problem is that Lorien Revealed is not a fetch land, or else this would be easy. Lorien Revealed has to get an island, which means it has to overlap with Tropical Island. And there's no plateau in the deck. All of my non-island tools also overlap with Trop, so I actually can't get Domain here unless I get Xander's Lounge. That does work. Okay. I'll get Xander's Lounge. Which means I want to fetch for... I want a black source up in case I want to Bowmaster them. But I need to get white. There's no scrub land. This is going to be the hardest part of this game, is doing this fetch sequence correctly. Okay, Bowmaster can just wait a turn. I'll grab the Xander's Lounge here. Xander's Lounge, I have Domain. They're fetching in the end step. Probably going to see a Surveil land here. Worldly Tutor. The Dress Down does beat Witherbloom combo, though. Oh, they Worldly Tutored in response to this, built their own Entomb. Right. I was busy narrating, and this is something we actually talked about on the Eternal Glory podcast recently, where fetch lands plus Worldly Tutor become Entomb 5 through 8. Reanimating Grizzlebrand. Well, I suppose I have to Force of Will this, which is a shame, because that's exactly the sequence that I mentioned Bowmaster obliterates. But it only works if they snap off the draw. It doesn't work if they just, enjoy their 7/7. Endurance is a good draw. I have to pitch cast it right now with the mana that I have. And they Surveilled, left a card on top. Well, we're pitch casting Endurance. If they Shallow Grave over the top, I'll Bowmaster. I don't really like my spot here. I fended them off, but that's a lot of Entombs to be in the one deck. Chain of Smog targeting me. Okay. I'm going to Bowmaster them. I think this is a trap. I'm not going to send this back because they might be trying to discard a creature that they want in their graveyard. Okay, this Flooded Strand represents Lorien Revealed with Mystic Sanctuary or Force of Will. Entomb. Okay. If their hand is somehow Entomb Reanimate and I just declined the Chain of Smog, I'm going to be bummed out. But I don't think that it is. I'm going to get Lorien Revealed. Force of Will is the don't lose play. Lorien Revealed is the win play. I got Surgical Extractions in my deck. Try to draw to some of them. Okay, hope I don't die to Atraxa here. Land, good news. I really think it's just a monster in their hand. Brainstorm. Here we go. I'm going to put back Triumph and Island because Up the Beanstalk's about to draw a card. And now Triumph's on top of my deck. And if I bind something on their turn, we get to do the thing. Okay, attacking. I was really hoping they would cast Animate Dead specifically there. That would line up great against everything I want to do. Yeah, I'm going to end step Bowmaster. I'm just pedal to the metal now. I'm going to Miracle this Triumph. Draw a card. They just scoop to the Miracle trigger. Yeah. All right, well, good showing from Triumph so far. Okay, so now we're certain that they're Witherbloom combo on top of Reanimator. I still have 3 plows, 4 bindings in. And Dress Down also beats Witherbloom combo. I could be +1 plow here. I'm not bringing in Force of Vigor just for Animate Dead. Yeah, I'm fine with this spread. Going back in. I think we did it right the first time. Okay, 3 forces, 2 blue cards, and Island Ponder. You know I'm in. If their hand does cast Grief Reanimate here, it's probably right to take my Bowmaster and try to reanimate it, rather than try to do anything out of their own graveyard. Because my hand is soft to Bowmaster. They're on 6 cards for this game. Cabal Therapy. Gross. Oh no. Well, that is extremely likely to name Force of Will. I'm going to force a negation this exiling Force of Will. Just get it out of here. I don't want it flashed back ever. It was going to take 2 cards anyway. I was just bragging how many forces are in my hand. Okay, ponder my way into a black source here for Bowmaster, and then we can play the game. Cool. All right. This works. I'm going to lock down the land, and then there's Leyline Binding on top. Grief exiling Shallow Grave. Okay. I mean, I might die here. They're down to 3 cards in hand, but they are stripping my last force. Cabal Therapy, hell of a card. I can fetch Bayou with my Misty Rainforest if I need to answer a Witherbloom Idiot next turn. Okay, they just dumped an Atraxa into their graveyard. have to assume the card in their hand is Reanimate. Once again, I hope it's Animate Dead specifically, so they just don't even get the trigger, but I can answer an Atraxa here. It is, of course, Reanimate. That resolves. I'm going to respond to the trigger and bind it. Does that make sense? Like, what if they find a Force of Vigor? All right, I'm going to let this happen. Yeah, they found Boseiju, which would have been a huge blowout. I'm not happy about this situation, but if they pick something that's not Boseiju here, then I can actually answer this. But if the Atraxa was under the Leyline Binding, they would just take Boseiju and get a second Atraxa trigger. Like, Worldly Tutor, Reanimate, Verdant Catacomb are all here. I mean, Entomb's right there too, so they don't need to do all that. All right, yeah, they just took the Boseiju. Bummer. Yeah, they took Lotus Petal, Reanimate, Entomb, and Boseiju. Yeah, just Entomb reanimating a second monster here. Also pretty good. Archon of Cruelty. Reanimating this thing. I could brainstorm and try to find a Surgical Extraction right now. Probably should have started my turn with that, if that's what I was going to do, though. Yeah, Leyline Binding sucks. I'm going to brainstorm and hope that I'm not dead. Okay, found Surgical. Better late than never, maybe, but also probably should have been targeting Atraxa several minutes ago. Okay, Chain of Smog, Boseiju is their hand. There's one Archon in the deck. Let's look at this deck. There is one Sedgemoor Witch. No Witherbloom Apprentices. Interesting. There's one Grief, one Grizzlebrand, 4 Animate Deads, 3 Shallow Grave, 1 Troll of Khazad-dûm. There's not that many win conditions left in this deck, actually. Not that that helps me in the face of this stupid Boseiju, though. Yeah, what do I even do about this Boseiju? If I Leyline Binding on their turn, they can Boseiju in response and they never lose the Atraxa, or they can let it happen, then Boseiju, and then they get a refill, but they don't deal 7 this turn. Either way, I get to shuffle and get another land. The shuffle's important because Bowmaster doesn't beat this thing. Yeah, I think I'm going to just do it on their turn. I do have Swords to Plowshares in my deck, too. Let's see what they do. If they tap out for a Chain of Smog, I can just kill Atraxa. Okay, I'm going to brainstorm here and see if I can spike a Plow. I did not spike a Plow. Both of these Bowmasters can go away. I feel like there's a good chance they just Chain of Smog me here. Oh no, but then they're not Boseijuing. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to put back Bowmaster Ponder. No, I want the Ponder. Both Bowmasters back. Okay, let's see how they want to handle this. Do they want a long-term reload of cards, or do they just want to push damage? I hope they choose to push damage, honestly. Nope. They chose correctly. Yep, there's the Boseiju. You get your thing. I would like the shuffle. I would like Xander's Lounge. Another Boseiju's been found. This was a pretty big whiff, actually. There's no creatures in the grave, or there's a Grief in the graveyard to Animate Dead. Oh, there's an Entomb at the top of the pile. Never mind. Huge hit. No whiffs possible. Okay, deck. How about Swords to Plowshares? Moto bugged. Straight it back into Orcish Bowmaster. Ponder. Swords to Plowshares. Leyline Binding up the Beanstalk. Well, unfortunately, I know that this isn't going to last very long, if it works at all. And they could just Entomb, Reanimate, grab Grizzlebrand here. Like, I could take Beanstalk and Binding for 1 and try to just beat them on cards. Another round of Atraxa triggers seems so bad, though. Whatever, we're in here. I'm the control deck. I won't be backed down by some cowardly Reanimator player. They don't even know where they are or what's going on. Animate Dead targeting Grief. Okay, that taps them out of Boseiju this turn. Especially if I act now before they can have a mana source. I'll take that Atraxa temporarily. Grief gets to eat an Orcish Bowmaster. Unfortunately, none of the spells in my graveyard help here for purposes of Mystic Sanctuary, because the card I care about is an activated ability. I might just want to grab Ponder to do anything. Yeah, I'll take Ponder here just to try to grease the wheels, find some action. Up the Beanstalk is not good here. Shuffle this. Flooded Strand. Hate my life. Okay. We're going to get killed by the third Atraxa. Yeah, this whole game, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback this and just say, like, oh yeah, you should have obviously brainstormed for the Surgical on the first Atraxa rather than trying to wade through the trigger. But if they just don't have a Boseiju in there, it's way better to answer it this way. I don't know how many Besagers they play, which is another part of the puzzle. Okay, they are just letting me know they don't even care about this Atraxa. Can I get a Triumph and a big flip here? Swords of Plowshares. I was going to say better late than never. Not even sure that's true anymore. Or basically never at this point. I'm going to take out the Troll. That does give them a bunch of life back. But with a Beanstalk in play, we're in the spot where, like, flip Triumph, draw Leyline Binding, bind something, ding, ding, ding. It's here. It's possible. I could double block Grief, but I kind of want Bowmaster in play so they don't suddenly flip into a Grizzlebrand on me. End step Bowmaster. I'm just going to get it into play. Come on, good cards. Keep them coming. That's among the worst. And they're probably going to Besage me in the end step and then untap with their full hand and 7/7. Yep. I'll grab a Savannah here. And white mana and Uro are how I can get out of this. There's Sedgemoor Witch. I know they have 2 Chain of Smogs in their hand. If they Thoughtseize reanimate Chain of Smog, they have infinite 1/1s. Can I beat infinite 1/1s? Not really. Oh, there was a Dark Ritual in there? Oh yeah, all the way at the top. Okay, yeah, so they can just Smog me next turn. Okay. Yeah, so I took a white removal line instead of a YOLO for Graveyard Hate line. And the Graveyard Hate was there, which doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. Like, I think we're actually winning this game by a mile if that Leyline Binding in my opening hand was a Swords to Plowshares. No, I can't even make this block because then they can reanimate Grief and know the coast is clear for the Witch. They're just going to send it anyway. No way that they don't. Unmasking me, sure. And Terminus is not in my deck. I have no way to sweep up infinite 1/1s. Okay, they're passing the turn. Interesting. Thought I was dead already. Oh, I am dead already. Yeah, they just have to attack with Atraxa. They figured out there's no reason to take a risk here at all. What I can do is if they do something like discard spell, Veil of Summer becomes a cantrip, and then maybe something happens. I just need them to cast a spell before combat. If they just crack for 7 here, I lose. Okay. They figured it out. Good game. Yep, a decision to try to beat the monster with my removal spell versus spin for Graveyard Hate and not necessarily be able to beat the monster. Beseiju, hell of a card. And apparently they play a lot of them. This deck's still pretty new. If I knew more about the list, maybe I would have predicted Beseiju specifically as an answer and tried to do something different. But here we are. Cool deck, facilitated entirely by Underground Mortuary. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 2. I have a Beanstalk, a Cath, and some answers to stuff. Not to spells, but my hand's very good against creatures. It gets most of the way to Domain. I'm just going to Flooded Strand pass and go for Tundra plus Bayou, get up the Beanstalk into play, and then see where the game goes from there. Opponent mulled to 6. City of Traders. Chrome Mox. Alright, let's hope they just play a Goblin or something, and not a Trinosphere or Chalice of the Void. My hand's very good against the average, like, Goblin horseshit start. Alright, yeah, this thing's dead. My hand is not great against the initiative mechanic. It's good against the individual cards in the initiative deck. But I do need to put a creature into play at some point to win this game. I'm going to go for Beanstalk. I just think that everything gets better with a bean around. Drew a Triumph, of course. This is the flip side of Triumph. This is why I was worried about it back in November in my prog deck. Like, sometimes it's just in your opening hand, or you draw it after your first draw of a turn, and then you have this clunky 5-drop. I suspect a Seasoned Dungeoneer here. Yes, indeed. They have basically gone all in to make this thing. It's a Chrome Mox double of City double City of Traders start. Access to red, spooky. I'm going to start with Ponder and see where this goes. Force of Will, I needed you last turn. Triumph of St. Katherine, I can set her up here, and I think that is good to do. Force of Will in my hand, Savannah in play. Pass the turn. Let's hope they go into the Forge, and then I can get some extra value here. Nice. Okay, plow this thing before it's any bigger. Okay, Triumph has a chance here. All 3 of the Triumphs in my deck are accounted for. If they go Mountain, Caves of Chaos, Adventurer, that is still going to be tough to overcome. Mountain, Magus of the Moon would be way worse. Force of Will, no blue card. Lotus Petal. What's this for? If they just like poop a Fury into play. Oh, wow. Did they just forget how City of Traders works? What just happened? Interesting. Well, it's a miracle, folks. Miracle this thing. Leave up Tundra. I'm drawing the land that was under this, which kind of sucks, but also means I could just start casting Triumphs next turn. I have 5 mana. The flip side of it sucks early is it's pretty good in the mid game. Just 5 mana, especially for cantripping, is insane. It's too big to Fury. It's very good to Solitude. Solitude it is. They will get into the archive next turn. I'm going to fetch out my Xander's Lounge right now while I can. Leyline Binding's nice. Okay. Do I want basic land? Do I think that's going to be part of this game? I can't Mystic Sanctuary here. Yeah, I'll just take the basic. What I want is for this being to draw a blue card, and then I can counter whatever they play, binding their thing. Okay, here we go. They go into the archive this turn. I can stop them right before they get into the Throne of the Dead 3. I just have to hope that the 3 cards in their hand aren't Caves of Chaos, Adventurer, and Cavern of Souls. Anointed Peacekeeper. Is this worth forcing? It is a creature on the board, which is at least a little bit annoying. I am going to force this. Leverage that Beanstalk. Put that creature away. Solitude can't get in here. Force of Negation, not very good. Leyline Binding, very good. Force of Will, very good. Okay, I think we're going to flip it here. As long as their 2 cards can't somehow remove Triumph through Force of Will, I feel okay. I can tutor my planes. There's still a basic left in my deck. Life points, now up to 21. A lot of room to breathe. 5 lifelink is so much. Like if this thing gets rumbling, boy does it rumble. And I think I'm going to double up Triumphs and just try to win the game rather than hold up Hardcast Force. Because I can pitch cast the Force. Now the forces are flowing. Let's go. If they have Cavern of Souls Initiative creature, they immediately enter the Throne of the Dead 3 and they might actually be able to overcome this. But if they don't have Cavern of Souls, they can't win this game. Simian Spirit Guide also does not win this game. Okay, good news. Bowmaster will hold back Spirit Guide forever while Triumph gets it done. I'm going to Forge onto Triumph. This rules. I usually take the card selection, and it's probably still correct. But if I'm just gaining 12 life a turn, that gives me a lot of room to figure out, even if the worst happens. Bam. Okay, they're at 8. Here comes the Bowmasters to protect me. And they're dead. Cool. Okay, I mean, I don't know that we could give Triumph of St. Katherine a lot of credit there. I guess it was a creature that came into play. Compared to Uro, which would have taken multiple turns to get started, then they Solitude it, and by then they're in the Throne of the Dead 3. So Triumph was pretty reasonable there. Lifelink really good. I didn't like having 3 of them at the start, but once we survived the first wave, the 3 really carried. A versus Initiative. Blue Blast coming in. Terminus, I probably need that. Force of Vigor. Sometimes I like attacking Initiative's mana, but I'm not a Wasteland deck, so Pernicious Deed and Meltdown. If I had 2 Wastelands in my deck, I would use Deed and Meltdown as additional ways to combat them. But I don't. Deed's probably still good enough if the game goes long. Or just sitting Deed in play protects me from their 4th Aerolinguses. A Force of Negation's out. And up the Beanstalk's out. A Ponder's out. You could shave Ponder when you expect your opponent to be going really fast and or have Chalice of the Void. All memes aside, Ponder is a surprisingly board-outable card. I love Lorien Revealed. That helps versus Blood Moon. And Uro's kind of a stinker. I like Uro, obviously, but he's very susceptible to Caracas and Solitude and Swords to Plowshares and not very good at taking the initiative. Collector Roof's always interesting because it turns off their Chrome Moxes and stuff, and it is a 2/2. Let's talk about Collector Roof for a minute. What do I cut if I'm bringing that in? It would be either a second Ponder or a second Beanstalk. I'm going to try down another Ponder. Let's run it. Maybe Meltdown's better than Force of Vigor, but if I'm worried about Blood Moon, yeah, it depends on what problem you're trying to solve. I'm mulling this hand, though. It doesn't do anything. This hand has Force Blue card to try to survive the first wave, and then a super aspirational Triumph of St. Katherine in the Someday pile. I'm bottoming Mystic Sanctuary, but I wonder if Mystic Sanctuary was just like fetch land. Do I bottom the Triumph instead? Is it better to have this in my deck where it can be miracled, or to have the 5-drop in my hand? Brainstorm's an upside, or just getting to 5 mana like we saw last game. Ancient Tomb is happening. Chalice of the Void, I'm going to ignore that. Of course I drew the Brainstorm immediately. That was the thing I was talking about, but Chalice of the Void, good check for it. Oh no, the Cavern. Chalice and a Cavern's so good. Obviously, if I know they have Cavern, then I force the Chalice because nothing else is going to work. Magus of the Moon. Yeah, that resolves. I do have my basic planes in my hand. And the Magus turns off their Cavern, so I can force the next thing. If they were all in on this, they might be disappointed. Depends on how kind my deck is to me. All right, well, I have all my basic lands available now. And that gets me up to 4 lands, which means that Triumph is 1 land draw away anytime in the next 3 draws. And Triumph flips this whole script immediately. Fable. I don't want to force this, but I'm going to. Force pitching. I think Blue Blast should go. I don't have any lines on answering this Chalice at the moment, so for now, Brainstorm and Blue Blast are the same thing. But I think if I get out of Chalice, especially with this Triumph in my hand, I'm more interested in Brainstorm. There's land number 5. As long as I'm not dead in the next 2 turns, which might happen, they might just go, land Caves of Chaos Adventure. They don't currently have white mana, though. All right, they're just casting Apes. This is good news. And I can Miracle Triumphs here if one is forthcoming. Cannot cast that Ponder effectively. Okay, I'm going to go to 11, then resolve a Triumph, and we'll see what's what after that. Not the worst spot I've ever been in. It could go south quickly. They have a lot of good draws in their deck. Okay, here she goes. Whammo. Moment of truth. No combat. Yes. All right. Turn the tides. Turn the tides. Attacking is a little dangerous because if they block with Magus and unlock all of this mana, including all the colors, like if they just chump block with Magus and then jam Seasoned Dungeoneer, that doesn't really favor me. But if they don't block because they don't have that, that's good news. And I can't sit here and wait for them to draw one. I got to be bashing right now. Lotus Petal. Uh-oh. I think we're about to get Dungeoneered. White in the pool. Curses. Okay, there it is. I would love a Leyline Binding. That card would be good here. This tutors of planes, then they're just off everything that I've been enjoying up to this point. No good. Magus is a wizard. They can attack and get a Dungeoneer token or trigger. Here they come. Ooh. Yeah, okay. That's the one that attacks if one's going to attack. They can't decide. I guess them losing the initiative here might be scary. Oh, 4th Heralding is the top of your deck? All right, well, I've lost. Oh, they binned it. Interesting. Okay. A draw for turn. Come on, big draws. That's not it. Okay, I can get the initiative here, but it doesn't matter because I have all my basics in play. Or they can lose Seasoned Dungeoneer, which would be great. Cool. Oh no, they have the flicker. All right, I'm dead. Okay, that was a great start from them. Multiple squeeze pieces and a Cavern of Souls. Meltdown does answer Chalice, even through Magus and the Moon. Pernicious Deed is not castable with the Moon in play, but it's very good if I get one in. Why was I worried about Force of Vigor? It was Chalice of the Void and Blood Moon, but Magus and the Moon is way more likely to be in their deck. Okay, Force of Vigor is pivoting onto a Meltdown. I'm going to do it like this. Okay. Interaction and bodies. They kept 7. Game on. City of Traders. Here we go. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And this is going to resolve. I'm just going to think about it like I have a counter and decide what I'm going to do here. I think I just plow the goblin. If I get... Oh, Flooded Strand doesn't fetch Bayou. It does fetch Underground Sea. Savannah, Underground Sea. None of those cast 4th Aerolingus. Alright, Savannah, Underground Sea I think is the best I could do from here. Definitely cutting that mana out from under them. Ooh, that's interesting. I could now kill the Fable before they get any selection out of it. Or hold up Binding and see what happens. I think I'm gonna bind the Fable. No, I should blast the Fable. Yeah, I'm gonna blast the Fable. Get Underground Sea, blast the Fable. Yeah, it sucks that you have to manage domain. That is actually a cost of this particular build of the deck, because I would have rather had Volcanic Island probably to get 4th Aerolingus online with any land drop. Okay, Plateau. Something's happening. Refable. Ugh, I just did so much work to answer the first one. That's why this card's good. Dress Down. Are you useful to me? Not really. Okay. I'm going to pass. I'm definitely going to bind the Goblin, but I'm going to let them do their looting first. Because they went down to 1 land to do this, and attacking their mana seems like where I want to be. They discarded Spirit Guide and Caracas. Discarding Caracas tells me that they don't need lands specifically. Yeah, they discarded 2 mana sources. I'm still not letting them treasure out here. Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal. Okay, yeah, they were fine. Archon of Emeria. Okay. That's not the one I was worried about. It's still good. Orcish Bowmaster. That is a card I could cast. Okay, I'm just passing with mana up here. There is a cool trick here where if they don't apply a ton of pressure, I can end step Dress Down, untap, and if any of the top 2 cards in my deck are a land, I could cast Uro, and it's just in play, thanks to Dress Down. Looks like I'll be dressing down a Dungeoneer, though, which is a temporary solution given the reflection in play. Running out of options here. Terminus right now for the win. I would accept Swords to Plowshares or Leyline Binding. I'm not too greedy. Anything that answers Dungeoneer or Reflection is fine. Come on, deck. I think we've lost. I'm going to put in this Xander's Lounge because that one has to come in tapped anyway. Maybe they'll do something goofy and leave the initiative open for attacks with a Bowmaster, but we're behind now. Maybe I should have read more into them discarding 2 mana sources and just let them have the Goblin. There's a Dungeoneer. Both Dungeoneer attacks get triggers. 4th Aerolingus as well. Oh no, X equals 3. Well, that resolves. And it sucks. Is this lethal? I haven't done the math yet. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's exactly lethal. What a tilt. Okay, so I can Bowmaster. Oh, cool. They messed up. Nice. All right. That gives me breathing room. Deal 1 to you. Oh, I should have targeted the Reflection. They're going to draw another card this turn. That was so bad. Okay, it's fine. I was excited that they punted. They targeted the same Seasoned Dungeoneer twice, which means that the second one fizzles because of protection from creatures. Yeah, this Reflection should be dead. We both threw that turn. I ping you. I will get the Monarch and the Initiative, but I'm behind on every conceivable measure. Attack. Don't know what I could even do to make this viable. Oh, if my Monarch trigger draws Brainstorm, and then on my end step I Brainstorm into Terminus and another Brainstorm, that's the only thing I can actually do here. Okay. Or no, I can't do that anyway because of the Archon. Alright, GG. And navigating a 5-color mana base, the fact that you need all these colors just around to play your basic removal spell in your deck, it is a cost to the deck. When you're going off with beans, it feels crazy and good and worth doing, but when you don't have a bean, you're like, why isn't this prismatic ending? And none of it's free. It all comes up here and there. On to the next round.
If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event.
On the play for round 3, with a hand that has only Xander's Lounge, force blue card, no white to get. They got a fetch land. I can replace any one of these cards at random with a fetch land, and the sand is the nuts, but it is not that, which means I'm going to mulligan it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to keep this and put Kath back in the deck. The Savannah plays off of the Xander's Lounge to get me Domain. Underground Sea from the opponent. Hope I don't get stifled. Cool, we got away with it. Hope I don't get stifled is a meme on the channel, but right now in the metagame, it's actually like pretty heavy. There's a lot of decks that actually do play stifle right now. Ponder. They didn't do anything on turn 0 or turn 1, so I'm fine pondering. I can still hold a Playline Binding if I want to. But maybe I'll find something better to do. Do I want access to Force of Will? I don't have a blue card right now, but my deck's full of them. I could take the Force, play the Fetch, and then fetch away the lands. If they end up being Scam, I'm going to regret this. If they end up being Storm or Doomsday, I'm happy with the choice. Lorien Revealed cycled in the end step. Tropical Island. Okay, so this is probably a Stifle deck, and I'm already exposed to Wasteland. I'm just going to fetch now. I'll play around as much as I can. Opponent said in the chat, they're on their second league, or second game with my deck. And congratulations for winning the Magic Cup at MTGO Chicago. So if they actually just pulled my list from MagicCon, there's only one Stifle. There's Wasteland. That happens. And they've got a Ponder. This is another weakness of the Domain builds. Wasteland. Just the card Wasteland. Normally Wasteland sets you back 1 mana. This set me back 7 mana in terms of actually casting the spells in my hand. Their Ponder did not shuffle. Another Wasteland. This is how it happens. All right, I'm going to cycle for an Underground Sea and Thoughtseize. The one of Thoughtseize, but that's why you play a diverse spread of things. Like, I can't play around anything because I'm busy playing around everything. And I've done this to so many 4 and 5 color Beans players over the last 4 months. Just Wasteland them twice, Thoughtseize their spell, and then, you know, your deck's just kind of bad. The flip side is, if I get over this squeeze and start flipping Caths and drawing off Beans, they will fall behind quickly, and it'll be really hard for them to catch up. This is a Bowmaster. That is... Hello. Speaking of flipping Cats, this is where this card is really going to get tested. Because my hand was bad until I did this. And now a 5/5 lifelink puts them in the spot where they need to come up with a Murktide quickly. And the removal in this deck is all black. Even if they Sheoldred's Edict or Murderous Cut here, I'll just put Kath back into the top 7 cards somewhere and she'll be back. Yep, there's the Bowmaster. To the surprise of no one. And because I suddenly have a 5/5 in play, they can't play cat and mouse about it. They just have to start putting stats on the board because they're going to get bashed. Brainstorm. Sheoldred's Edict. Okay. This is interesting now. I don't really want to get dazed. I do want Kath in play. I don't want to get Murktided or Beamed, though. All right. I'm going to trust in the, what is this called? Presidium Protectiva. Just put it back in there somewhere. Maybe I'll flip it right now. 1 in 7 chance, right? I'm at 15. And I drew another Brainstorm. That card's pretty bad right now. I'll probably Binding this Orcish Bowmaster in combat, but I'm going to let them cast some spells first, see what happens. I'm going to let Brainstorm happen. So I don't want them to Brainstorm knowing that I'm going to remove their Orc. They've got a fetch. Let's see if Mystic Sanctuary's time has come. Just grab the Sheoldred's Edict, get ready for the next Kath, or what their plan is here. All right, just going for a Ponder. They're looking for action. Okay, I'm going to bind here. Maybe I was actually supposed to bind in response to the fetch, because if they had Daze here and got a second spell out of it, that would have been really bad. That was a small bleed for sure. This is a Murktide. I have an answer to Murktide in my hand, so I'm not going to force it. Well, here's you. I am going to Miracle Kath. Now I wish I had forced the thing, but, you know, 5 out of 6 times, I would have been happy with this play. But I can bind this next turn They're drawing Ponder. I could use Force to have a fight here. And then we'll see my Cath versus their Merc on the other side. Force pitching Force pitching Brainstorm. This is a fight I want to fight. Now I'm actually really worried about this Ponder finding a Murderous Cut or Shouldered's Edict. Here's the Ponder. Let's see a shuffle. Chose to shuffle. Okay. Are we here? Did we stabilize? Murktide's getting in. I'm at 5. Draw for turn. All right. We're free from the horrible clutches of Daze. Leyline Binding. There are 2 cards in the hand. Stifle's in the deck somewhere. There's no Boseiju or anything like that to really mess me up here. And now we're flipping it. It was 5 to 15. Now we're both at 10. If they jam a Murktide this turn, it's the same size as Cath, and we could keep doing this. I could do this all day. 1 damage coming back. Okay, I'm attacking again. I'm just going to attack with Cath until they do something. I'm not going to cast this Ponder and give them a potential Bowmaster action. What is this, Sauron's Ransom? Murderous Cut. Okay. This is interesting, because if I fetch first... Yeah, I'm going to fetch first to make sure Triumph stays in my top cards. I'll get Tropical Island, let them cut, and use these cantrips to get it back. Ponder. Up the Beanstalk. What's up? Okay. Well, the Beanstalk's up. Answered my own question. Up the Beanstalk. Okay, 8 life. Lots of card advantage. I'm pretty worried about a Bowmaster here. They snapped off that 5th fetch pretty quick. I bet Lorien is about to be revealed. Yep, there we go. Okay, 4 cards in their hand now. Playing my Ponder. There's Triumph. Okay. How do I sequence this? I'm going to put Leyline Binding in my hand. And unfortunately, I don't have Full Domain. My Xander's Lounge is in the graveyard, so Full Domain isn't happening. I can Brainstorm into Katherine in combat. Or I could just go to my draw step and start flipping. Ugh, their own Beanstalk. That sucks. If I try to Brainstorm into Katherine here, that plays into Bowmaster and Daze, and I'm just not going to do that. I'll just go to my turn and flip her. Well, they Witherbloom Command. Are they milling me? Because they should. Okay, they're milling themselves. Cool. I just kept... So this is something that is worth talking about if you're going to be playing Sultai Beans versus the Katherine meta. If they're keeping Ponders and stuff, think about the mill your opponent mode of this card. Okay, I'm actually going to Brainstorm in response, and if they Bowmaster me, they got me. But I would like to flip this Cath in a spot where she draws a card. Okay, oh, 2 of them. Another one. Put back Misty and bonus Cath. Fetch in response to the trigger. Stifle's a blowout. Daze is a blowout. A lot of problems here. I will at least get Domain with this Volcanic Island, I guess. Okay, I will at least get to draw a card here, even if they answer this. Okay, we're just in. Good news. Okay, milled yourself and probably picking up Wasteland. Yep, can take me off white. But they've already played a land this turn, right? Last turn was the one where they had the Lorien and there's 6 lands in play now. They clear out this Orc army and just tee off. And they clearly don't have a Bowmaster, or they could have gotten me for 4 on this last turn cycle. Right now is a good time to start whipping draw spells around. Fatal Push, Bowmaster in response. All right, that's legal. Uro. I like you. I like Bowmaster better. I don't think I'm going to have white mana starting next turn. I know Wasteland is in their hand. Just thinking if it's better to bind the Beans in the upkeep, or if they play a Murktide, I'd rather bind that even if they do draw a card off it. Here's the waste. Okay, well, now I have to jam this, because I won't be able to cast it any other time. Shouldered's Edict, sacrificing a non-token creature. Yep. Triumph goes into the mix here again. And their Bean's gone. I have no white sources. I am holding Uro, though. And I'm pushing damage with them at 4. All of these are good things. White mana, too easy. I'm going to attack first. Yeah, they still haven't found a Bowmaster. And I'm going to leave up Underground Sea to shove this Uro. Bowmaster's in the grip. Okay. I feel pretty favored at this point. It could still flip, but removing their Beanstalk last turn, they don't have an engine. I have Uro. And 20% chance to flip Cath in my next draw step, then it's 25, etc. I could play my Bowmaster now and just present lethal. I think I'm going to stay patient, though. Wasteland. Can't take me off white this time. All right. Black's in the pool. Bowmaster. And here they have to Force of Will on their turn instead of mine. They're going to go to 1. Fetches will be off. Forces will be off. Basic Plains doesn't cast Uro, so I'm not going to fetch here. Katherine, if I've kept count correctly, is 1 of 3 cards. 1 in 3 chance of flipping the 5/5 here. Good chance we don't even need it, but it is there somewhere. Inevitably. Witherbloom Command, are they milling me? Still targeting themselves. So actually, Cath is guaranteed to be one of the top 3 cards in my deck right now, if I have kept track correctly, which is possible I've miscounted, but this is a guaranteed removal of the Cath if they mill me. And you still pick up a land, even if you mill your opponent. It would be clever to try to waste my fetch land here. See if they could get me to fetch away the Katherine. Looks like they're just trying to keep Uro out of play, though. Mystic Sanctuary tapped. Okay, 50-50. Force of Will's in my hand. Okay. If I've kept count correctly. Next turn. Yeah, there's a big Murktide. I don't want to rejuice up their life total here, but I obviously also just can't be taking 8s. Swords to Plowshares this. Moment of Truth. Did I keep track? I did it. Somehow. Successfully counted to 7. The hardest thing I've ever done. And it resolved. If they countered that, if they did have Force Blue card and now more than 1 life to use it on, that would have been gone and we're back to 0 and maybe even behind because they have way more resources in play than me. But the fact it resolved means that their black removal now has to put it back into the top 7 if they want to go again on this. But they're stringing beans together. If they cast a Murktide right now, I think we'll actually lose the game. Bonder, okay. Murderous Cut's really bad too. Not as bad as Murktide. Did not shuffle. Yikes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 2 mana. This is the magic number. They're doing it. They're doing it. They're flipping it on me. All those wastelands have added up. I can't Force of Will here. They're drawing 2 cards, putting the biggest creature in play. Yeah, I need my 4th binding here. Or flip another Triumph and actually win the race. Swords to Plowshares. A land for Uro. A blue card for Force. Okay, I go to 6. Then they go to 3, and I go to 11. I am winning the race right now. But not for long. If they do literally anything with their 5 cards in hand, including Murderous Cut, which draws 2 cards. Brainstorm. It's tough to know when you're supposed to counter the Brainstorm versus not. There's still a Bayou in their deck. They're not out of colored sources yet. This, by the way, is a very common thing in this matchup, where Uro's in the graveyard of the 5-color player and they just can't use it because they've been wastelanded too many times. Okay, no attack. They realize they're not winning the race, and apparently they didn't find what they were looking for elsewhere. Neither did I. All they have to do, though, is cast another Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4. Would be 14, or that would be 12. Bowmaster ruins everything. I'm going to force pitching Force of Will, because I could still hardcast Force of Negation if I need to win this fight, which I do. I'm losing, though. I'm falling behind very quickly. Yep, and they had a Force for my Force. Now I'm going to negate their Force before they draw these 2 cards, which might just be another Bowmaster anyway, and we did nothing here at all. Or even worse, another Murktide. Okay, F6. They are down to 9 cards in their deck. That's not going to matter, though. Brainstorming on top of a Bean trigger. That's interesting. Why are we doing that? That just ends up drawing another card, and you see 1 fewer overall cards. Yeah, just another Bowmaster over the top. Plenty of ways to figure this one out. And decking them is the most realistic game plan I have at this point. Oh no, they have the Murderous Cut also. Is this lethal right now? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes. Yep. Typical Sultai Beans picking apart a deck trying to do too much. A Terminus comes in. Force of Vigor. Well, maybe. I like Endurance. I like Deed. This is the worst part of this matchup. You have to board out your forces, and they don't. I think I'm going to try to stay super light and lean. Well, no, here come these Carpet of Flowers. Because their Force of Wills and their Dazes keep you off balance while they pressure you. And this build has Bowmasters of its own, so you can kind of meet them in the middle. Murktide just wins the late game, though. Like we saw there, I flipped the Cath, and they were able to kill her a couple times, and then suddenly they just had an 8-8, and my 5-5 didn't matter, which is the inevitable endgame in this matchup. Okay, I'm cutting all my forces and bringing in 2 sweepers, an extra threat that's also Graveyard Hate, some carpets, and Veil of Summer. Dress Down does very little. Okay, maybe I want a second Veil. Let's try it. Okay, a 1-lander with Brainstorm versus the Stifle Wasteland deck. I'm going to try it. They've got a Misty Rainforest. I'm going to Brainstorm in the end step and try to set up the big moves. I don't normally condone this, but my hand curves out so well if I hit the land here. Okay, cool. Well, Cath sucks because I don't have any white, but I am going to put a Beanstalk on the stack here. That at least starts the party. Oh no, am I going to need Spell Pierced? Oh, they fetched and then Force of Willed. Okay, sure. Pitching Brainstorm. I wonder what that means. Like, were they thinking about brainstorming for a daze then, but they don't have another blue card for Force, or they don't want to pitch their other blue card to Force? You stick a Bowmaster. I am Brainstorm locked here. Just gonna Bowmaster you back. Okay, we are in the spot where my initial cantrips were either disrupted or didn't get there, and now a Wasteland just cuts me off of damn near everything. Wasteland's so good right now. I know I'm not supposed to be just comparing Sultai Beads, the deck that I want to be playing, to the 5-color deck that I am playing, but also look at this. They killed my Bowmaster, picked up Wasteland. If I don't draw a land right now, it's probably safe to just concede. Okay. You're all lucky. I'll continue playing. I'm still getting wasted, though. Wasted AF. I'm going to fetch and try to Brainstorm right now while I have Veil of Summer available to protect it. Okay, put back Cath and Brainstorm. And I can Cath turn after next. Up the Beanstalk. Sucks to be me. Okay, there's a Cath on top of my deck. They've just stuck their engine card. It's a little tempting to try to Endurance them and keep them off Murktide here, but also going 2 for 1, that might not even be necessary. I would happily 2 for 1 myself to stop a Murktide, especially if it's going to draw a card. But maybe they just don't have it. That's always possible, theoretically. And now they can't have it because they played Bayou and Ponder. They don't have blue-blue. And I'm glad I held on to 2 cards. Ponder didn't shuffle, another Ponder. That Ponder also didn't shuffle. I think now I am going to Endurance. This is 2 more cards in there now. And if I Endurance them now, they're not representing Murderous Cut anymore. If I had 3 mana, if I didn't get Wastelanded twice, the Veil would be much better to fight over the Murderous Cut. However, as we saw, I've been Wastelanded twice. Probably want Tropical Island here. I can't fetch Bayou with Flooded Strand. There it is. In play. Oh, Dismember. Cool. Okay. I mean, at least that was... Oh, wow! They had the Surgical too, the 1-2 punch. I think I agree with at least 1 Surgical coming in. There might only be 1 Surgical in the list now that I'm thinking about it, but even if I had 2, I'd probably bring in 1 versus Cath Uro decks. Okay, well, that's gone forever. That was a 2 for 1 because they spent a card from their hand to exile a triggered ability from my graveyard that came off of a card that they already spent a card to answer. However, they have beans going and I don't. And the 3rd Wasteland. Oy, oy, oy. Devastating. It's relentless. This Sultai Beans deck is so god dang good. Cycling Lorien Reeled. That seems like an aggressive Murktide line. Cycling Lorien there. Oh, good, there's Terminus. Okay, Brainstorm. It did find the land. Terminus, get back in there. 4th there, like as you are not even close to happening. 4th Terminus, with the Terminus on top in case they play a Murktide this turn. Beanstalk, terrifying. I was already losing to the first one. And I'm going to fetch because they didn't play a Murktide. I'm going to get Savannah because Uro is now my best hope. Land for Uro? Okay, okay. Start the engine. Vroom, vroom. Okay, so Bayou, Tropical Island. and 2 drops are in my graveyard. I don't even think I could cast this Uro without a Carpet of Flowers. And if they waste this Savannah, I'm just completely out of green sources. There's a Ponder. I'm going to look at my deck real quick. Yeah, it's Bayou, Savannah, Trop, 3 down, 1 to go. I do have 2 carpets in. This is another common play pattern in this matchup where you just can't cast your spells because you've been wastelanded too many times. All right, they just put Surgical on top of their deck. If they could draw it right now, I have to win with Bowmasters. Oh, yikes. They have a Murktide that's going to draw the Surgical. Yeah, okay. Uro's gone, Cat's gone. I have to win with 4th Aerlingus or Orcish Bowmasters now. I guess I have Endurance. Nope, it's in my graveyard. I don't have an Endurance. Pernicious Deed. Is there an Underground Sea still in my deck? There is. I think I want to get Xander's Lounge, though. That's like an Underground Sea, except it lets me Leyline Bind with Veil of Summer backup. Temporary Stopgap. They've already drawn 2 cards off that Murktide. Ponder. Didn't shuffle. That sucks. Lorien Revealed's good for 5 cards right now. Oh, here we go. Let's do it. Leovold. That's so much worse. I'm going to Veil of Summer to draw 1 more card while I even can. Help the Beanstalk. You love to see it when your opponent just resolves Leovold. The good news is, Pernicious Deed kills Leovold along with their Beanstalks, which was my plan. Okay, Pernicious Deed, they have 1 card in hand. They can't Spell Pierce. They can't force this. And next turn, I could Deed for 3, which clears their Beanstalks and their Leovold. And unlocks my Beanstalk, all with the mana that I have available. We're still in this, kind of. Depends on what they do this turn. If they have a Murktide or Lorien Revealed right now before I could mop up these beans, we're going to get buried. But I did draw a very good answer to the present situation. Also, the cool thing about wasting all the green sources you see out of this deck is that if they're out of green sources, they can't even cast the Carpet of Flowers. Yeah, they just pick up the Wasteland, which is number 5 of the match, 6, or of the game. I think it's number 5. Oh, they went after Xander's Lounge. That's a mistake. Opponent who said that they're new to the deck, if they just cut me off green forever, they don't realize how close they are to me not being able to cast a third of my deck. Ever. Okay. Well, let's hope they don't have Stifle. Deed for 3. Cool. Ponder. Is the last card Bowmasters? Hell yeah, it is. Why wouldn't it be? That's okay. That was a really good turn. I'm not going to complain. They're back down to Hellbent. Their engines have collapsed. Leovold didn't draw any cards. Swords of Plowshare is really good here. I am on a pretty quick clock. And my top 2 cards in my deck and one of the 2 cards in my hand are all cantrips. So if they draw a counterspell right now and just protect their Bowmaster, or have a second Bowmaster, I'm in a lot of trouble. It plow the Bowmaster. No, mana's being tapped. Just Force of Will. Good. Yep, that sucks. I have to Ponder because I'm dying anyway. Shuffle this. Okay, I found a fetch land. I'm not at 3 islands. If I play this up the Beanstalk, I go to 6. And then they'll tap me to 5. I'll be at 1. And then if I cast a 5-drop, if I draw Leyline Binding, I die. Okay, well, I just can't even cast this card. I mean, that was a hot rip. And that was random. They didn't stack that with a Brainstorm or anything. Like, that actually was just, like, drawing the perfect card. But deck's full of great cards. Ooh, Tarak Con Queso. I have to flip Terminus here. I'm at 3 life. Terminus. Cath doesn't even do it. Or I don't have any Caths. I have to flip Terminus. Terminus. Swords of Plowshares. And we're dead. All right, good game. Yeah, Salty Beans just had me off balance the entire match. You saw it happen. I was doing my best. Just 5 Wastelands here, a little Force of Will here, a Bowmaster here. They just don't let you do what you want to do, which is amass resources and overwhelm them. And Cath specifically, let's talk about that, because that's what this league is really about. We had some spots where it was like, the inevitable Cath, like 1-for-1 trade, but she's coming back soon. 1-for-1 trade, but she's coming back soon. And then suddenly, Murktide Regent, it's an 8-8. I don't care about a 5-5 anymore. I do think 4 and 5 color beans have to be really lucky with sequencing, or the Salty Beans has to run pretty bad for this matchup to be even remotely close. Because this deck is trying to manage a balance of all the different land types and keeping various permanents in play, etc. And this deck is built to tweak all of that out of balance. I did not expect to be 0-3 at the start of my first triumph of the Katherine League, but here we are. Let's try to flip it around. On to the next one.
The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop.
I'm on the draw in round number 4. Gonna mulligan this no-lander. I will keep this one-lander, and bottom Triumph of St. Katherine. A Wooded Foothills, interesting. Not a commonly played dual land in this day and age. Is this Temur Delver, the classic? It's so classic that it's become invisible. A Brainstorm, another land, and an Orcish Bowmaster. I think I want to lock up land Brainstorm before I worry about Bowmaster. If this is Delver, they're going to have some wastelands. Let's make sure we don't just lose that fight before the real game even starts. Badlands. Yikes. Oh, is this Storm? These cards are all in the Epic Storm. Yeah, all right, Song of Creation, 100%. Well, we're dead. I can't interact here. And they are jamming. This looks like a clean Beseech the Mirror line that a single Force of Will would obliterate. But I didn't keep one of those. Oh, they're emptying the warrants. All right, yeah, that's even safer. Okay. Terminus is in my sideboard. This is 10 Gobos. Now I wish I had the Bowmaster. That would answer 2 of the goblins, then Uro could start escaping over the top of them. All right, before I reveal more of my deck, let's do some math. Attack for 10. I plow one of them. I have to fetch to do it. I'm at 10 either way. 9 goblins left. Then I fetch to 8. Play Uro. I'm at 11. They attack with 9 goblins. I go to 2. And then I lose. Okay. Miracling Triumph of St. Katherine blocks 6 goblins functionally. I think I still lose if I Miracle a Cath. I could fire Brainstorm, see if Katherine's there right now. All right, let's see if she's in there. She is not. I'm going to put back Dress Down. Maybe I should put back these Leyline Bindings. Put back Leyline Binding. And then I will fetch and plow a Goblin and give myself a chance to flip a Cath. Because if Cath shows up right away, I'm definitely stable. I am giving up the information that I'm some Mopey Swords to Plowshares deck. But I am playing to my outs. This would be a great showcase for Cath to show up and do a thing. Draw. Not a miracle. Okay. I did not fetch a black source. Could I fetch Bayou there? No, I needed white. Okay. Maybe they'll just start their turn with a Brainstorm. Give me a free pass. It's not happening. Okay. I fetch here, then I can answer 3 of the goblins. Underground Sea is a black source. Kill a goblin. Block 2 of them. I'm at 3. If there's a land here, Uro plus cast another Bowmaster. Okay. Uro. Hope to hit a land here to cast a Bowmaster. Does that even do it? All right. We did not stabilize. They have me for Xaxes here. Even with Leyline Binding, I have to fetch to cast it. So, got me. Okay. All right. That was a showcase for Cath. She didn't show up, obviously, but that was a spot where she would have won the game where none of my other cards did. A Swords to Plowshares come out. Meltdown, Deafening Silence, Pernicious Deed, Veil of Summer, Collector Oof, Force of Vigor, Endurance. The Blue Blast can counter Burning Wish or some number of Empty the Warrens. It could kill Song of Creation. I don't want to overboard, but there's also a lot of stuff that could be reasonable here and a lot of bad stuff in my main deck. The deck only having 20 lands is kind of tough. Normally you could cut your basic lands versus decks like this, but I don't think I can even play this game on 18 lands. Okay, all my white removals coming out. Triumph is still cool. Beanstalk can be too slow here. Oh, I already cut 4th Aerolingus. That goes here. Okay, so if I do this, it looks like this. Do I want 4th Aerolingus as a way to zap at them? Okay, this is a pretty good don't die wall. Terminus isn't in. Both my surgicals aren't in, but I don't think I need all that. Is surgical better than endurance? Probably. But endurance pitches to force of vigor. Okay. I'm going to do it like this. This might be too much, but I'm in here. Keep, snap, keep. Deafening Silence is just about the gnarliest card you could have. There is no scrubland in the deck, and Misty Rainforest doesn't fetch it anyway. So turn 2 Bowmasters will take some work. Are we going to have the classic BoshNRoll experience of 1 for the league, and the one that we beat was the Epic Storm? I hope so. I could use a W here. Opponent was in the tank forever, then kept 6. I think I want Tundra, just to get blue under me. It has to be white. And my white lands are Tundra and Savannah. I don't need more green here, so more blue makes sense. Wow, they didn't even play a card. Interesting. I'm going to brainstorm, set up this Triumph. I put back Bowmaster. No, I don't need all these lands. Land, Triumph, Trop. The Trop protects my Deafening Silence from removal spells. Not that they can cast them from 0 lands. All right, let's flip this Maniac and get to work. Suddenly Under Pressure. It certainly looks good when it comes down like this. And then I'm still holding up Veil of Summer. Can't fetch Bayou, so I hope I don't need it this turn. I would rather play Bowmaster and protect myself with Veil moving forward. They drew a land. What does this mean? Pantad Prism. That's fun. The new tech. I said I don't need all these lands, but I will actually take one here. I get double Bowmaster. If they have the audacity to draw cards. I'm not going to ponder. I'm going to leave up double Bowmaster to just crush if necessary. Chrome Mox, that's your spell. Deleting Echo of Eons. Yeah, you better. Okay, I'm going to throw out both Bowmasters here. Underground Sea and Bayou. I would like to make my opponent deceased. I got them in the squeeze. Let's keep it that way. Also, every Triumph connection is 2.5 more Storm they need to kill me with Tendrils. That's worth a lot. Now I have Force plus Veil. I can't cast both of them if Deafening Silence is in play, but I don't need both of them if Deafening Silence is in play. I'm just going to pass. We did it. The Nut Draw beat Storm. Good job, me. A Pentad Prism over there. On the draw, do I want to be more aggressive about surgicals and just making sure I don't lose to an aggressive start? Surgical and Terminus are the 2 things in my deck, or in my sideboard, that could be in my deck to protect from that a little better. Terminus only matters versus goblins. And I have Pernicious Deed and Triumph for those, but if they just make 8 goblins on turn 1, nothing except Terminus is going to beat that. I don't think I'm bringing in Terminus. I think I am cutting my basic planes, though. There's 2 Lorien revealed in the deck, plus the 19 lands, and I'm allowed to mulligan. Yeah, let's go. Okay, Force Blue card and Surgical. The shields are up. They even have one of the 3 beans I left in the deck. Or am I down to 2? Did I cut another one? I don't even remember. I thought about it. Yeah, there are 3 in there. Okay. They kept 6. Bloodstained Mire. Oh, sick. Now I have Veil of Summer on top of everything else. I was about to start narrating I'm going to play Savannah to bluff Veil of Summer, then I drew one. Even better. Okay, let's see what happens here. Defense Grid. Well, I better Force of Will that, or else I don't get to do anything else. Okay, Underground Sea plays Bowmaster. I'm skipping on the Beanstalk. I can't really afford to tap out here. Lotus Petal. The Song of Creation. All right. Light them up, up, up. And they might be able to just outmuscle this. I think I'm also going to extract their Lotus Petals. That's just such a good thing to get the party going. Okay. Let's look at this deck. 2 LEDs. 3 Echo of Eons. I mean, okay. Let her rip. The race is on. Pena, pena. I wish this was 1 turn later than it actually is, but hopefully it's good enough. I would feel better with this Veil of Summer also in the mix. And they have to go for it here because they have to discard their hand at the end. And you have to draw 2 cards when you cast the spell. Each Storm they get deals 2 to them and puts 2 in the bank for me. Their Storm count is high enough, though, that the Tendrils will kill me before Bowmaster kills them. Okay, they're pacting their own Rite of Flames now. Yeah, they're all the way in, and they know it. And that looked super desperate, but drawing 2 is powerful. If they Veil of Summer, they're going to win for sure. Okay, not off that land. I also just looked at their deck and forgot to do a Veil of Summer count. And their only mana right now is this Rite of Flame and 2 LEDs, which they'd have to discard their hand to use. I feel pretty good about taking those Lotus Petals, actually. They're pacting the Rite of Flame again. They're at 3. I mean, here, even if they go Dark Ritual Tendrils, they lose. They've already made their land drop, so even land Veil, or Mox Opal Veil of Summer, they lose. Okay, cool. Bowmaster held. It might have been smarter just to hold up the Veil there, but between ripping their Lotus Petals out and having this into a Song of Creation, that was pretty cool. Okay, sweet. We got to win versus the Epic Storm. Faded the reverse trophy, and let's go try to win another match, actually. We still have one to play.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the draw in round number 5. I'm going to keep this hand. This is an extremely fair hand, and if my opponent is unfair, I'm in trouble. Flooded Strand, probably a good start. Tropical Island Ponder, okay. Might be some kind of mirror. Flooded Strand doesn't fetch Bayou, so it's not Salty Beans. Speak of the devil, there's Bayou. My hand is pretty clunky. This Beanstalk doesn't have anything to trigger it. This Triumph doesn't have a Brainstorm to put it back. I can't force this Beanstalk as much as I'd like to. Drew the Xander's Lounge, okay. And fetch Tundra, play Trop, and then Xander's Lounge will give me Domain next turn if I need that. Bayou gives me Bowmasters, though. Okay, if they force this Beanstalk and draw a card, I'm way behind and in a lot of trouble. These are the spots that the first test comes. Yep. Who has more beans? Who can stick a bean? Who's rolling with an engine? Who's not? And Triumph, for as cool as it's been, it's not an engine. It's just a creature. This is like a small Murktide Regent that doesn't need the graveyard to be cast. The opponent brainstormed, then cycled a Lorien revealed, found a Xander's Lounge. 5 color confirmed. I guess I'll play Underground Sea, because that can play Force of Negation or Bowmaster. Come on, don't fail me now, Bowmaster. I need you to deliver. This is the turnaround we need. But they have white mana up, so I'm not high hopes here. Yep, obviously. Still haven't drawn a blue card to go with this for since the opening hand. That would have been an opportunity to flip this. Yeah, this deck is just really clunky. Not trying to be a Debbie Downer, just trying to... We are in the magnifying glass phase now on Triumph of St. Katherine and how to build decks that contain the card. Good, another Beanstalk. I couldn't beat the first one. Something good? Swords to Plowshares. Hell yeah! That card is not useful to me. I already have Domain without the Xander's Lounge. I'm going to cycle it. There's some desire to cycle it now to try to spike a Leyline Binding and take one of the Beanstalks, but if I do that, I'm tapped out of Force of Negation. Not going to counter a Ponder. Uro, okay. I'm jealous. I'm just going to plow Uro now. I don't want to deal with this later. It's a 2-for-1, but it's going to be a lot more if it comes back again. They cycle the Lounge in the end step. Lorien Revealed's not a bad one. Uro's not a bad one either. Suddenly I have options. I think I'm going to start with Triumph, though. Triumph is a really good target for Leyline Binding, though, which they can play and draw a million cards off of. Still going to go for it. Yep, there it is. And these matchups are kind of tough, the Bean matchups, because I know I've lost. It's just going to take like 10 more turns to actually happen. They would have to run so bad from here, like impossibly bad, for me to actually win this game. They flipped to Terminus, which only takes a 1/1 token out of play, but draws 2 cards. Just the wheels are churning, and mine are not. Third Beanstalk. It's too late to fight over anything. Maybe I can deck them. And I'm not kidding. That is actually my plan right now. If I can string together enough life points or enough removal that their forces, their Loriens, their whatevers, draw 3 cards each. Let's figure it out. Did not shuffle or ponder. It's bad news for me. Mystic Sanctuary. That can get Swords to Plowshares back. I could play Uro, and protect it with Force of Negation. Or I could just fire this Lorien. I'm going to fire the Lorien. I doubt this deck has soft permission, and they can't hardcast forces right now, but they will be able to in the future. Cool, and my spell just resolved, which means I'm going to put Lorien back on top. Okay, let's try to do something now. They're fetching in the end step. They've got their Mystic Sanctuary. Please target your own Lorien revealed. Yeah, Grade Mode activated. My plan is literally to deck them, and they're about to draw 6. So this is kind of like resolving Lava Axe. Do you smell all that copium in the air? Go ahead, resolves. I'm not going to force it because they've literally already resolved a Lorien revealed just by casting it. 22 cards left in their deck. I have 2 white removal spells in my hand. They got to clean up 3 cards. Discarded 2 Uros. Okay. I mean, you have to draw cards to play that card. All right, I'm going to fire another Lorien revealed. If they force it, they got to draw another 3. And if they don't force it, I might catch up. Oh, they play Bowmaster. That sucks. Well, I will Swords to Plowshares that. I don't know how stock Bowmaster is. Like, obviously, you could just play it in your 5-color deck, but okay. Now we've probably lost. Yeah, this is going to hurt a lot. Can't force back. Had the wrong force for the entire game. Guess my plan here is to fetch a white source and get rid of the Orc army. I'm more worried about the army than I am the Bowmaster at this time. Is that even true? How many Bowmasters do they have? All right, I'm going to take the army. That thing was really big. Fetching in the end step. 18 cards left in their deck. I can binding their binding and get Triumph back if I think that's right to do. I'm going to escape Uro here. I can't interact with that. 16 cards left in the deck. Ponder. No thanks. I'm going to cast Leyline Binding, see what happens. I could protect it with Force of Negation. If they Force of Will, they draw 3 cards. I go for Uro here. They could binding my binding in response, then Uro never leaves play. They didn't do that. Hardcast Triumph. If I could just waste some time, gain some life, that's fine with me. I imagine there's a Swords to Plowshares in there. Okay, it's binding, which is a force to draw 3. And now, do they want to take my Triumph out or get their Uro back? They already have an Uro, so it's not that. They're going to take Triumph. Yep. 13 cards left in the deck. Second Bowmaster. Shit. The first one was a problem already. Oh, and third Bowmaster. Yikes. Okay. These will win the game. Uro was a little too slow, but all these Bowmasters are stacking up pretty well. I wonder how close to the 75 card mirror this actually is. I don't see a single card in their battlefield or graveyard that I'm not playing. Except for Beanstalk, which clearly I'm not playing because you have 3 of them and I have 0. Now playing Uro is life total neutral. I mean, negative if we out the army, but like even the ETB immediately loses all the life that it started with. And whatever. Here's Uro. I'm going to put it on the stack. Down to Tundra. Okay, I'm going to re-escape Uro, or escape Uro, replay Uro. This can chump block the army, and maybe it'll draw a plow or something. If they just Force of Will, they win. Okay. Yeah, just absolutely obliterated here. They had beans, I didn't. They resolved a bean, and then they countered mine. The game was over on turn 3, and yet here we are on turn 9, still like pretending anything's happening. Unless they just totally clown out here and accidentally deck themselves by casting a bunch of spells. If they cast 3 spells, they could lose, but I don't know how that could even happen. I was supposed to Force a Negation that. I had already F6 because I'm dead just to combat and it doesn't matter. Now they don't know about Force a Negation. Played around it. Okay. That was a shellacking. Force of Vigor comes in. Pernicious Deed is not the worst. Veil of Summer, Carpet of Flowers, Endurance. Surgical's interesting. If they have to play the game without Uros, that's not that bad for me. Force, Dress Down, shave on Plow a little bit. Like, I still need them. They're a Bowmaster deck, and they have Uros and stuff. They're not a Wasteland deck, and I am bringing in Carpet of Flowers. Maybe I don't want Pernicious Deed. I mean, taking out... That's one of the ways you could catch up to multiple Beanstalks, though, is a Pernicious Deed. Do I have 2 more cards I want to cut? Shave a Force. But them having Force and me not having Force is what cost me that game. Like, if the Force in my hand... Or, I didn't have a blue card. The Force was fine. On that first bean, If they have to force to protect their bean, then I just resolve one on my turn, then we're still playing at parity. I don't think I want Terminus in. You only want Terminus when you're losing, and I don't want to make a plan to be losing. Maybe this is too many Veils. Or is Veil actually better than Force? The Force can fight over beans. Yeah, this is too many Veils. All right, I'm going to try it like this. Okay, I'll keep my hand and hope that this Brainstorm finds a land. They've got a Ponder. I could just grab Xander's Lounge here, or I could take a draw step and see what happens. I'm going to draw. Easy, always had it. Okay, I have my lands now, and I didn't waste my Brainstorm. They're representing Bowmaster right now. I'm going to fetch Xander's Lounge, get that out of the way, and then I'll go to my turn. A Brainstorm, let's do stuff. I have to be ready to force a Bowmaster. They didn't have one. I didn't find a land. I did board out two. Remember, we're playing with a Delver mana base at this point. Put back Triumph and Deed. Those are both way later situations. And I can get Trop and be missing white, or I can get Tundra and be missing green. I think I'd rather have green for this Uro. Okay, found the white. Everything's working out just fine. Okay, we're playing the game. End-step Brainstorm. I don't think... I did play a Bowmaster early last game. They ended up removing it immediately. So they do know I have Bowmasters. We both have them. As far as I know, it's a 75 card mirror. Carpet of Flowers. This card is brutal. I'm going to bind it. Just move into combat and then zap it. Okay, deny that Dark Ritual's worth of resources at least. Force the Beanstalk. Okay, we fended off that very exciting turn from them. I'm going to Brainstorm and then probably have Bowmasters around. Put back Uro and Endurance. Yeah, we're both representing Bowmasters here. They have more cards in hand than me. I kind of want to force the issue on the Bowmasters because I'm about to start missing land drops. And that's when you start falling behind. Okay, a Plow at least is not a Bowmaster their own. Veil of Summer, okay. And they're just cantripping here. Sure. Well, that's a sign of weakness that I will accept. Uro is going to draw Endurance. They don't really have anything going on still. Uro in the graveyard, though. My next green source starts doing stuff. Flipping Triumphs at this point is pretty exciting. If they've got a Lorien revealed, that's going to be tough to catch up to if I don't stick Uro right now. Okay. Well, I'm likely to stick Uro right now. Unless they force my carpet, which is not an unreasonable thing to do. A second main, I'm going to make a big boatload of green. Uro, blue, blue, green, green, blue, blue. There is a Mystic Sanctuary in my deck, so I left Ponder in the graveyard. Pernicious Deed is back. It's a green card for Endurance. They have 7 cards in their hand. Good chance they could kill this Uro. Yep, gone. This is where Deed gets awkward because we have all the same permanents that we care about. Like if they play a Beanstalk, I'm going to lose my carpet trying to answer it. I'd love a Lorien revealed. Nope, just a Force of Will. I could just Endurance them here. I don't even know if that's good, though. I should put the Deed into play. I'm going to make a pile of black and cast Deed. Probably should have made a pile of green and tabbed the Xander's Lounge. Now I'm not representing Veil of Summer in case that is the thing that I need to represent. Okay, here's a Leyline Binding. This resolves. Wow, they're worried about the Deed? Cool. Yeah, you can have that. I was worried about losing my carpet or them having theirs back. Okay, well, seems that we're having the same conversation after all. Okay, what I'm going to try to do here is let them do whatever it is they're trying to dump out of their hand and then bind their binding that's on Deed and then sweep up everything. Or they're just going to Lingus the shit out of me. Oh, no. Yeah, all that red in the pool. We've lost. Never mind. Okay, yep. Force just can't do it. Oh, I can still blow this out with Deed. Never mind. I'm fine. Yeah, Deed for 0 actually stabilizes this whole situation. Binding your binding. Kill all the tokens. And we're back to whatever. Okay. Down the line. And I'm going to do it for 0. I need my carpet more than I need to remove their carpet. We have 2 bindings in play, each with a binding under it. Just peak magic. Hey, I found something to do. Yes, and make green. I'm just going to cast this Endurance. Just want to put some power and toughness into play. and my mana is so awkward. I can't do this as a flash creature, but I can do Bowmaster as a flash creature. Leovold would be insane right now. Why aren't I playing that one? Hey, Bowmaster, go in. Surely they don't have an interactive spell in their 3-card hand. Yep, if only I could Force of Will anything ever in my life. Okay, I'm going to deal 1 to Endurance, and then I will deal a bunch of damage to the Orc army. In all things considered, I do have a lot of power in play. No, I don't. Whatever. All right, I'll bind this Bowmaster before the Brainstorm resolves. That just makes them better able to protect it. It doesn't do anything for me. And if this Brainstorm whiffs and their hand is bad, then I am ahead on the onboard resources. If nobody casts a spell for the rest of the game, I am winning. But they're looking at 5 cards right now, and I have a Force of Will that I can't cast in mine. Recycling Xander's Lounge, okay. That's not the scariest thing they could do with mana. Lingus, baby. Okay. We might still be in the game. Okay, yes, and make blue. I have red and white from lands. I don't need to telegraph what I'm doing here. Okay, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. I could back this up with Force of Will, or I could just send it. Red, white. Definitely casting this. It would be for 1 horse if I back it up with a counterspell. It just wins the game if I elbow tap, though. Okay, I'm going all the way in here. Forget this Force of Will. It sucks anyway. Wow, Flusterstorm, that's embarrassing. Jesus. Why is that card even in this mirror match? There's 1 spell that matters, and they managed to find it, but good job. Good job, opponent. That is the only card that you could Flusterstorm in this whole mirror match. Okay, well, now I know to play around that, but I've probably lost already. Okay, they didn't do anything. They played a fetch land. Okay, represents Mystic Sanctuary. I can Force of Will on their turn, and then Mystic Sanctuary, my horse is back and tried this again. Okay, you're saying there's a chance. They made a bunch of mana, and all right, they're just saving clock by using it in the first main. Okay, Mystic Sanctuary, re-horses, and now the board's completely empty. Yes, and make red. I'm not bluffing anything anymore. Okay, 2 horses is lethal and gives me Force of Will back up. Okay, your last 2 cards in hand, what are they? Is it another Veil of Summer? Can I resolve my spell? Oh my goodness. Bowmasters can keep them alive barely, but I still get the Monarch. Removal spell I don't care about. All right, Mystic Sanctuary for Brainstorm, they're digging. Okay, Bowmasters, from 6 life. Okay, so they have to chump something here. Yeah, you have to block actual endurance. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Okay, they get to kill off my horse with the Monarch trigger in the end of turn. They can attack and take the Monarch if they want it. I still have 5 power in play to their 2 life, but they're drawing a Brainstorm, and they do have a Bowmaster around. Okay, here we go. Let's party. I've done my best. I thought I lost this game 17 turns ago. Fetching down to 1. Beanstalk, okay. This could get dangerous. Orcish Bowmaster cannot afford to attack and take the Monarch because they have to block. That means they didn't draw a removal spell. And this is currently a lethal attack, so I'm just going to make it. Okay, cool. They figured it out. Well, that was nice. The 4th Aerolingus resend it on a second 4th Aerolingus is powerful technology. If they're boarding in Flusterstorms, I'm going to counterplay with that versus the Veil of Summer. They were also pretty high on 4th Aerolingus. That turn they jammed it after removing my deed. Makes a lot of sense. If they think this matchup is about 4th Aerolingus, like if they're constructed with 2 or 3 instead of just 1, it makes sense why they'd have Flusterstorm in. We're in the level system now. I've seen Veil and Fluster. Do I just not want to have Force of Will in higher numbers? Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm worried this is not enough Force of Wills, but I don't know what else I'd want to cut at this point. On the draw, for game 3, I will keep Island Ponder. Gotta believe. They seem to have the same plan as me. I'm going to fetch Underground Sea, though, instead of Tundra. Did not shuffle. Force of Vigor. That didn't come up last game. It's a sweet one, though. Brainstorm, Tundra. I like these cards. I'm a little worried about them having a Bowmaster, but this does set up Triumph. We haven't seen a Triumph out of them yet either in the 2 long games that we've played. They might not have them. They fetched Xander's Lounge, then pondered in that order. I'm going to Brainstorm right meow when they can't Bowmaster me. Ooh, Carpet, what's up? Okay, put back Tundra and Triumph. Play Savannah, play Carpet. They might Force of Will this if they have it. Okay, they didn't have it or didn't use it. Okay, I can just play Bowmaster right now, or I can cantrip twice and really fix my hand. But I know my top card is Triumph. I'm going to send Bowmaster in with this free mana. I don't like that my Bowmaster gets Bowmastered here, but I like this versus basically any other play they'd make. Carpet, yuck. I only have 1 though, so this is mana neutral right now. They're still playing on 3. Black in the pool, hate my life. Getting Bowmastered. It's alright, we're flipping the girl here, and I do have a plow for their Bowmaster. Leyline Binding, okay. Yeah, I got lands. Like, I'm not even actually worried about that. Let's see if Triumph of St. Katherine can carry. It's a miracle. And I'm going to fetch a Tundra and just light up their Bowmaster now. Attack with Orc Army. And let's see if this 5/5 lifelink can do anything this game. My next green source, which means my next fetch land, functionally, removes their Carpet and frees mine. Oh, well, it frees my Carpet and my Triumph. That's even better. Okay. They declined Carpet mana in the first main. Does that mean they just don't have spells to cast? Cool. Up the Beanstalk. That is a green card. Okay, I'm going to cast Up the Beanstalk. I'm going to trust my deck to deliver a mana source at some point before I just pitch off my engine for short-term gain. This is interesting because I like all these cards, except they don't do exactly the thing that I want to happen right now. They are green, though. Okay, I'm going to put Up the Beanstalk in my hand and Uro on top of my deck. And I can pitch cast Force of Vigor and just unload, depending on what they show me. And if they don't show me anything I'm worried about, I can just play Up the Beanstalk. Okay, I guess I'm going Up the Beanstalk. This draws a Ponder, cast the Ponder, Force of Will in my grip with 2 beans in play. Yes, please. Okay, I'm doing to them now what they did to me in game 1, which is just having many beans to their 0. They do have access to 6 mana. If their 4-card hand is like 4th Aerolingus and a counterspell, they probably still win this game here. But that didn't happen. They just put a Ponder on top. It's good news for my Orcish Bowmaster. They dropped the Tundra, and I am going to pass. I hope I can get some sort of weird fight that doesn't matter over this Bowmaster, and then win the real fight that matters, which is Force of Vigor to get all my permanents back. Okay, Bowmaster, get in there, ping ya. Okay, that did get a plow out of the way. I'm going to Brainstorm now while they're less likely to have their own Orcish Bowmaster in hand. Okay, there's the green source. We're cooking. Put back Brainstorm and Uro. If I Force of Will pitching Uro, I end up drawing the other Uro that I can pitch to Force, and I just end up with all those cards anyway. Guess I gotta watch out for Flusterstorm too, a card that we are aware that they play. Ooh, mana in the pool suddenly. Oh no! Well, I mean, I'm mostly prepared for that, but they're on the level of knowing about Force of Vigor at least. But I'm on the level of having 2 beans in play. And found another Force. This is good news for those keeping track at home. Attack with Orc Army. I guess if I had Force of Vigor now, I would have had mana in my second main to do stuff. Yeah, I might have spewed off there. I can hardcast Force, though, and they have 2 cards in their hand. My Force draws 2. Uro. All right, they can have the front half. I'll fight over the back half. They actually have to have Flusterstorm here because they're tapped out of green for Veil. They untapped all their mana and then played a land. That telegraphs Veil so hard. But I think I still have to just cast the spell that I have. All right, well, hardcast Force of Will here is really good. Even if they Veil it, I still draw 2 cards. Bayou or Trop. I have a lot of blue. I have 3 islands. I'm going to get Bayou. All right, Force of Will. I draw 2 cards. You Veil of Summer me. You draw 2 cards. Oh, we got the GGs. They didn't have the Veil. That's lucky. Okay. A 2-3 record. Disappointing start for the first outing of Triumph on the channel. But it was informative because we ran into all the reasons that I stopped playing Triumph in paper, because these are the things I couldn't figure out. There were a lot of games where this was just in my hand. Just, keep your hand and here's a 5-drop. Good luck. There's only Brainstorm to set it up once it's actually in your hand. Brainstorm or cast it once you get to 5. And something I said that is a strength of this deck in the deck tech actually ended up being a weakness of the deck. I mean, it's certainly something about the deck and it's matchup dependent, but how threat forward it is. Like 4 Bowmaster, 3 Uro, 3 Triumph, and 4th Aer Lingus. These are a lot of cards that just kind of come into play and they attack and block or they get removed easily. A Triumph is not card advantage. Uro at least triggers on entry. Bowmaster at least triggers on entry. Triumph is just a French vanilla creature. This is a 5/5 lifelink. Every removal spell hits it. White removal is particularly potent because then it's just gone. It gets countered just fine. In the age of Fable of the Mirror Breaker and Uro and Orcish Bowmaster and the One Ring and just all these things that immediately generate real value on arrival, Triumph of St. Katherine it's big. That's all it is. It needs Beanstalk to do the thing. It's insane with Beanstalk. But if you're just flipping this into a legacy game at random intervals with no setup, it really is just kind of a top-end limited finisher. Obviously, the card's good. People are winning with it. Figuring out the balance of it is going to be important. Because at 5 mana, you don't want to play too many because then you draw them at times where you don't want them. But you want enough that you miracle it without a setup sometimes to get that cheese value. I think 4 is insanely wrong. 1 doesn't seem like enough. 3 feels like too many. Is 2 the right number? I don't know. These are the fun questions. Like, I might sound like I'm being super critical, but this is the scientific process. You're supposed to doubt. You're supposed to root against it and be proven wrong rather than justify why it's okay. Like, if it's not holding up, then it's not holding up. The burden of proof of being good enough is on Triumph of St. Katherine. It's not on me to make it good. So this is on my watch list. There were a couple games where the lifelink mattered. There was that game against Storm with Empty the Warrens, where if we had Miracle Triumph, we actually would have stabilized versus 10 Goblins on turn 2. It's pretty insane. But also a lot of games where it was just a creature that came into play then died and didn't do anything. I'm excited to work on this. If it sounds like I'm not excited about Triumph, it's wrong. That's wrong. I am excited. I am not totally convinced on it in these numbers, in this sort of shell. There's work here to be done. I'm going to leave that here. Blue, thanks for the deck. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.